Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We've got to add a little addendum to the show map today, so we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the Vietnam War. The government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about a major rally that could be starting very soon on Bitcoin. As you already know, Bitcoin has been in a rally for the last 3 days, and we have seen it trading sideways for the better part of the last 2 weeks. Today, it looks like Bitcoin may be breaking bullish out of that symmetrical triangle pattern that it has been forming and that sideways pennant that it's been forming. And it seems very possible that Bitcoin is going to be able to rally all the way back up towards $73,000 and beyond over the course of the next month, potentially even as soon as next week. Today, we're going to be talking about that rally that could be coming very soon to Bitcoin, and I'm very excited to share with you how we can actually profit from that movement. My name is Jeb McAfee. I've been working in the cryptocurrency space for the last 7 years, and I love teaching you guys how to build something that I call financial sovereignty. That is the state of being the sovereign, the king, the authority, the principality, the ruler, the governor, the magistrate, whatever you want to call it, over your finances. I want you to have control over them so thoroughly that when you say go here, they go there. And when you say come here, they come there. When you say grow, they grow. When you say give, they give. When you say enjoy, you enjoy. I want you to be the one calling the shots in your financial life, because there are many times where that's not the case. In fact, the vast majority of Americans are not calling the shots in their own financial life. Instead, their financial life is determining the rest of their life. The fact that they are in debt means that they have to work for a boss that doesn't value them and that flat out mistreats them. The fact that they don't have any money means that they don't have the ability to ensure that their family is able to spend time together. They've got to work 3 jobs forever because they don't have control over their money. And you very quickly become enslaved to a very tool which you were supposed to be the master over in the first place, which are your finances. And that's not what I want for you. That's not what I have for you. That's not what our teaching has for you. I'm going to show you how to be the one who achieves mastery over their own financial life and not the other way around, so that you can set it on a course to grow, so that you can enjoy your wealth, and ultimately, so that you can be radically generous, which is the root of all joy. Very excited to be here today. We're going to talk a lot about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency today. Thank you, everyone who has tuned into the chat. Cynthia Dizon is in chat, said, happy Tuesday. Good morning. Joe Bollier said, good morning, Jeb. Coin Operator said, hashtag FinSov, hashtag financial sovereignty. Absolutely. Christina Orozco is in chat, said, hi, Jeb and friends. Philly Skills 1428, Bob Riley, Cosmin B, RJ, Grand Roofing Incorporated. Joel Elbs is in chat, said, hey, Jeb, love you, brother, live from London. Shout out to London. Have you guys been watching our daily dose of cryptocurrency videos that we've been putting out? I'd love to see any feedback that you guys have on that piece of content. I've been really enjoying creating it, and it's been very condensed, very concise. We cover probably twice as much as we normally do in about 2/3 of the time. So go and watch those videos we've been putting up. Those are the main videos we're putting up right now, and I want to share them with you because I think you're going to find a lot of value out of them. If you want a strong daily dose of cryptocurrency, then that is where you ought to go. Let's get started. We've got a lot to cover. The market has been mostly sideways over the last 24 hours, but that is not the only thing that's happening. Bitcoin has traded almost completely sideways in the last 24 hours. Ethereum is down 1% in the last 24 hours, but Binance is up 3.28% in the last 24 hours, up 10% in the last 7 days. Toncoin up 3.5% in the last 24 hours, up 10% in the last 7 days. It is important to note that over the last several months, at some point, there's been something rallying double digits pretty much every single day when you look at it on a 7-day chart. Right now, we have 7 projects that are up over 10% in the last 7 days. Ondo, Arweave, Caspa, Ordi, Jasmine Coin, Dog Go to the Moon. The pauses there are part of the name. You can see it right there. And Notcoin. Notcoin still being up 170% over the last 7 days. Even over the last 24 hours, Caspa's up 15%. Dog Go to the Moon is up 15%. Jasmine Coin is up 12%. And Ordi is up 10%. So we're still seeing quite a lot of gainers, and they seem to be kind of random spikes, right? Don't they? But they're not. They're actually not. What it is different cryptocurrency projects are going into rallies at different points in time. You can see the Caspa is moving up here towards all-time high. And what's going on here is different altcoins are kind of popping off like popcorn kernels. And that is often a sign, an early warning sign of a rally occurring in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. And I think that you're going to see a lot of bullishness coming out of the cryptocurrency space over the course of the next couple of weeks. There are many early warning signs. We've had the Bitcoin halving take place a little over a month ago. We've had the Bitcoin ETF go live in January. We've had the Ethereum ETFs be approved and are slated to go live sometime soon. We have seen the FIT21 bill pass the House. We've seen Donald Trump, the orange president, come in favor of the orange coin. And we have also seen many, many other bullish factors going on in the cryptocurrency space right now. And so that gives us this tension. So that's where we start today on the topic of tension. When you take a spring and you coil it between your hands, eventually you get to a point where you can't push it together any farther. And the only possible place that that spring can go is into expansion mode. You can only compress it so long before it has been completely compressed. If you take a theoretical square room full of steam and you compress all the sides together, you can only push the steam together for so long before it becomes incompressible. Water, that's why you use hydraulics. Water is incompressible. You cannot compress it any more than it has already been compressed. It is at its density is fixed, right? You cannot compress it anymore. And so in the cryptocurrency space, we run into this concept of tension quite often, where the space has become so compressed, it's become so tightly wound, it just feels like it's about to blow up, right? You've been in the room with an angry person before. You can feel the tension. It's palpable. It's sweating off of the individual. You're like, man, I can feel it. That person is just, boom, they're about to go, right? Crypto is very much the same. And so when you are a little baby, you might not really be able to feel the tension because you have not learned how to read body language. When you're an adult, you can feel there's tension because you've lived enough. If you've been in the cryptocurrency space for less than a few years, you're still a baby in the cryptocurrency space. And that's okay. We were all babies once. Einstein once shook a little plastic rattle, a little metal rattle himself, right? But once you've been in the space for 7 years like I have, what you end up finding is that you can start to feel the tension. You can feel it. Same way if you walk into a room with an angry person, you can feel it. Same way if you walk into the room and there's some raging alcoholic in the corner, you can feel it, right? You can feel the tension. And that tension becomes something that we have to pay attention to because it leads into the market sentiment. It leads into the direction of the incoming movement. It gives us quite a lot of context about where the market is going to go. And so there is a lot of tension right now. You're feeling it slip through the cracks. Have you ever tried to crush a balloon in your hand and it kind of pops out there and it pops out there and it pops out there? That's kind of what's going on with the altcoins right now. You've got a couple of different altcoins that are just boom, boom, boom. They're rallying here and there, but the hand of suppression has been on the majority of the market, and a lot of the market is still bearish. More than half of the market is red over the last 24 hours. More than half of the market is bearish over the last 7 days. You can feel the tension. You can feel the pressure, the squeezing of the bulls. Are they going to be strong enough to break to the upside? The answer is yes, they are. And to answer the question even farther, there was an indicator that was developed many years ago to analyze this exact phenomenon, at least as far as the charts go. It's called the Bollinger Bands, and it was developed by John Bollinger. And the Bollinger Bands show us the volatility of the cryptocurrency space. Now, for some reason, TradingView does not want to give me Bollinger Bands, so let me just pull them up really quickly here. But the Bollinger Bands give us context on, let's see if they'll come up. Not sure why TradingView isn't cooperating with me here. That's interesting. Isn't that interesting when your charting software doesn't work with you? Oh well, I will draw what they look like. Nevertheless, what the Bollinger Bands do is they show us the volatility. They show us how constrained, how tightly wound the market is. They show us just how tightly wound the market is. And they give us the context that we really need to see that. And then when the market gets extremely tightly wound, what ends up happening is you end up seeing a major rally occur. And so what are we seeing right now? We're starting to see that major rally occur. The Bollinger Bands decided to join us. Thank you very much. The Bollinger Bands have been constricting for the last several days, as you can see. And even on the weekly chart, if you look at the weekly chart, you can see they've been, maybe we'll look at the 3-daily chart. You can see the Bollinger Bands tightly constricted themselves over the course of the last several weeks. That is not a pattern that is going to continue. Eventually, Bitcoin is going to end up going through a major breakout. And that may even be what's happening right now as we speak. May not be yet, but it's getting there. And it might happen this week. We've been saying for the last several weeks that a breakout is either going to happen this week or next week. That has been our call. I'm quite confident in that. If we look at an exponential moving average here, I also want to point this out. The 20 exponential moving average, which is one of my favorite indicators in all of technical analysis, right now is holding up the market. As you can see, we managed to break up here above the 20 EMA. And then we're falling back down towards it. And over the last couple of days, we've been bouncing off of it. Right? Do you see that? This moving average is remarkably important. It is the single most powerful moving average in all of analysis. If you're going to use one moving average, use the 20 exponential moving average. We are sitting directly atop the 20 EMA. Every time we fall below it, we quickly rally, and Bitcoin has been bouncing and rallying for the last couple of hours. So that leads us to the question, has Bitcoin actually begun this rally? Well, I would say that Bitcoin needs to break above $70,000 before we start talking bullishness. And that's because $70,000 is a very important big even that sits immediately above our head. It is a $10,000 interval, which means that it has a lot of zeros in it. When we are dealing with a technical indicator or a chart formation, or in this case, a level, we're looking at big evens. We're looking at numbers that are clean. They're easy to speak with the mouth. You're sitting around the water cooler. Oh yeah, Bitcoin breaks $70,000. It's off to the races. You don't sit around the water cooler and say, oh, if Bitcoin breaks $69,842.77, then we're off to the races. No, nobody says that. People round. Rounding error, right? People round. And so the rounding error right now is $70,000. After that, we get to the level of $71,900, which, I mean, colloquially speaking, people are probably just going to say $72,000. And then you got $73,700. Those are the next levels we need to see. I think if Bitcoin breaks above $70,000 here relatively soon, we probably will be off to the races. We've talked about for the last several days, last several weeks, about how Bitcoin is coiling up. It is gaining its momentum. It is getting more tightly wound. And that is something that we need to pay very close attention to, because when a breakout does come, it is going to be massive. It's like a loaded gun, guys. It's like a slingshot. It's like a crossbow that's been pulled back. There's tension there. There's potential energy there. I mean, look at this market. We've been up here for a couple of months, butting our heads against $70,000. A breakout is coming. It's coming, people. It's going to happen. If it wasn't, then I think Bitcoin would have already capitulated by now. It has not done that. Instead, Bitcoin market dominance is sitting at 53.3%. Why is that important? Well, over the last month, Bitcoin's market dominance has stayed perfectly sideways. 1 month ago today, it was at 53.32%. Today, it is at 53.30%. It has moved perfectly, nearly perfectly sideways. Almost perfectly sideways. That shows us that Bitcoin is starting to lose the impetus. It means that the altcoins are going to start gaining momentum. If you look at the last year here on the market cap breakdown, Bitcoin has gained market capitalization much faster than anything else has. Right? Much faster than anything else has. It has gained market dominance. In the last year, it's gained 166% market dominance. Ethereum has gained market capitalization. Ethereum has gained 105%. Others have gained 122%. Stablecoins have gained 22% in market dominance, market capitalization. Bitcoin has outpaced everything. That's not going to continue. You know why? A couple of reasons. Number one, everyone that bought down at, $15,000 down here, the people that were listening to the channel back then, because we told you guys, listen, we were, if you don't believe me, we had an employee, very, very cool story, was listening to the channel listening to our channel, an employee at our company, was listening to the channel. He didn't tell me he was doing this, but he did it. He was listening to the channel down here at $15,500 when I was saying buy. He bought Bitcoin rolls up in a brand new car with 10 miles on it, drove it from the dealership straight to the office, walked outside with me, said, "Look at this car." I said, "That's a very nice car. Whose is that?" He said, "It's mine. I took your advice. I bought down at $15,500, and he sold it up here significantly later. He sold a little bit of up at $30,000, right? He didn't sell all of it. The guy made enough money to buy a brand new car. And I said, "Well, I didn't give you that advice." He said, "No, you didn't. But you didn't give it to me exactly. But you were saying on the channel it's a good time to buy." So I said, "All right, I'll buy." Jeb said, "Buy. Let's buy." And you know what happened? He ended up being able to buy a brand new car. It's very cool. Very cool. He'd always wanted a new car. Before that, he had kind of a beater, you know? He sold the beater, bought the new car. Very exciting. You know why? Because he bought and held. You know why? Because he listened to advice, to counsel. He did his own analysis. He didn't just listen to me. He did it himself. He didn't just say, "Oh, man, Jeb knows what he's talking about. I'm going to go do my own analysis." He did his own analysis. But here's the thing. Much like that employee of ours, who I'm very proud of, very excited for, many people bought down at $15,500. Many people like me bought down at $3,000, $5,000. Many people lost money in the FTX hack. And they're going to end up starting to sell some of it as we get up here towards $75,000, $78,000, $80,000. Does that mean the bear market's going to start? No. It doesn't even mean the rally's going to end. It just means there's going to be more headwinds on Bitcoin because it's already rallied so much. Where are they going to put that money? Well, some of them are going to take the money out of the market. Obviously, some of it's going to go to capital gains taxes. But a large portion of that money is going to be reinvested. Friends, you think the bull market has started, yet there is $150 billion in stablecoins. Are you hearing yourself? The bull market has started, but is it close to completion? No, it's not. The reason there's so much money in stablecoins is because people are preparing to buy. The market capitalization of the fiat-backed stablecoins has increased from $120 billion in November of last year to $150 billion so far into this year, halfway through this year. There's going to be a major rally coming, and it's going to move into the altcoins. And the altcoins are going to absolutely eviscerate Bitcoin's market dominance. Bitcoin's market dominance will probably fall to 35 to 40%. Where do you get that number from, Jeb? Well, that's where we went last bull market. We went to 35 to 40%. The altcoins are going to rally, and it's going to lead to a major rally on everything. And that's when the altcoin engine really gets started. Remember the altcoin engine I've talked about before. We've only had like one rotation of this so far this cycle. Bitcoin rallies. It normally is the one that starts. And then when Bitcoin goes down, the altcoins go up on the leftover momentum, right? Just like in a vehicle. So it's in an engine, 4-stroke motor. You got the pistons going up and down and up and down. When one is in the power stroke, it forces the other piston up that is not in its power stroke. And the momentum, because it's attached to the crankshaft, because of that, the pistons push each other up and down, right? And so when Bitcoin's going down, that momentum carries over into the altcoins, and the altcoins go up. And when altcoins are going down, that carries the momentum over into the Bitcoin market, and the Bitcoin market goes up. And you start to see that happening even right now, even as we're speaking. Bitcoin is attempting to break through $70,000. So I do believe that there's going to be a large rally coming to Bitcoin. I think it's going to happen pretty soon. That being said, how do we prepare for it? Well, I want to tell you a little bit about NordVPN, and then we're going to talk about how to prepare for this movement. And we will keep it moving here. Guys, if you want to keep yourself safe in the coming bull market, which I think is honestly one of the most important things you can do in investment, is protect your investments. I am much more interested in mitigating risk than I am in maximizing reward. Wait, what? Jeb, aren't you an investor? Yes, I am. And that's how investors succeed. They don't get fancy. They're not flashy. They're buying boring companies. They're buying boring projects like Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't doing anything flashy. It just is. It's a force of freaking nature. The way that investors get successful is not by focusing on maximizing the reward, although that is important. It is only that it's secondarily important to minimizing the risk. The risk profile is what you focus on. And minimizing the risk profile. You think, well, Jeb, that's going to lead me to grow slower. Yeah, it will. Riches gained by vanity will soon be diminished. You can get rich quick. Nobody that gets rich quick stays rich. No one that gets rich quick stays rich. The people that get wealthy because of their habits, because of who they are, because of the safety and the security that they have developed, those are the people that not only get wealthy, but they keep it. When wealth stays in a family, it's because the parents taught the children, this is how you don't screw this up. Grow it if you want, but this is how you've managed to not screw this up. And that's why NordVPN is a sponsor of our channel, because NordVPN is going to help to keep you safe as you browse online. Hackers and thieves are trying to steal from you at every waking moment. And if you let them, then you have lost everything. Losing 5% on an investment, you lost 5%. If a hacker gets into your Coinbase and steals everything, you lost 100% of your investment, my friend, and you are back to square one. That's kind of what I'm talking about. I would rather you prevent losing everything than show you how to double your money. I really would. I would genuinely rather show you how to prevent losing everything than how to double your money. It's 100% in both ways. But it's more important that you keep the money that you have than losing it, than it is to grow it. Should we not take any risk? No, of course, we've got to take risk for an investment. But where we can mitigate risk in areas such as making sure that our security is up to snuff, it's important. So make sure to sign up for NordVPN by going to nordvpn.com/Jeb. Get a 2-year plan to protect yourself for the duration of the bull market. Verhoofdy Floofen out here quoting scripture said, "A fool and his money are not long together." That is correct. Is it live? Seems like a simulation. Yes, I am a artificial intelligence. I am a robot. You guys think that I'm a real human being, but actually, in actual fact, I'm an offshoot of ChatGPT. Yeah, that's right. And by the way, if you send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll give you 2. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. That's not even funny. Nah, I'm real. Did he read YouTube comments? I do. I read all my YouTube comments. I just read yours. Carter Pennington said, signed up last night using your link for the VPN. Good. It will help. It's good to do. Queen said, delay gratification since 2020. The mark of maturity is the ability to postpone satisfaction and gratification. That is the mark of maturity. You can define how mature you are by how long you are willing to put off satisfaction. You can't put it off forever, because the Bible also says that what's the scripture I'm trying to quote here? That not coming to me. Brain fog. I'll come back to it. Nevertheless, basically what it's saying is that, a heart that has been set up to expect something and you don't get it, it's sad. Right. There's a much better way of phrasing that. I'm forgetting how it goes. But nevertheless, you cannot it's going to bug me. Yes, but anyway, the point here is that you can't delay it forever. You don't want to delay gratification forever. It's very important that you do allow yourself to enjoy things, but you cannot do it forever. Gosh, I can't believe that scripture's... Ugh, man. I've been waiting patiently for the next bull market peak. Good. El Guio said, good morning from Seattle. Seattle is absolutely beautiful. I've been there I was there for a week one time. Absolutely gorgeous city. All right, let's keep it moving here, guys. Let's look at the charts here. Bitcoin is currently sitting at $69,812. It has been rallying over the last couple of hours, and if we are able to break up here above $70,000, then we will be able to more than likely start an uptrend up towards $72,000. Now, we did have a rally up here on the 20th of May, which is a couple of weeks ago. If we rally up to $72,000, then of course we're going to have a lot of momentum to break through that, but I think that is going to be possible. Looking at the daily chart, we're going to see that there is a Bitcoin MACD cross that could be coming in very soon. This MACD cross is something that we're looking forward to because it would signal a move back towards being bullish. Looking here on the Crypto Jeb oscillator, you can see that while the bulls have completely lost their momentum, the bears are not gaining momentum. Now, instead, it is pretty much a sideways movement right now. If we start to see the bulls gaining momentum here again on the Crypto Jeb oscillator, then that is where we will likely be seeing that happen in tandem with a rally. And again, remember, Bitcoin is sitting right above its 20 exponential moving average, right there, which is an extremely important piece of technical analysis. Bitcoin is definitely going to benefit from having it sit above that 20 exponential moving average. Now, I also want to look at a couple of other charts here. The Dixie, for example. The dollar currency index dropped dramatically yesterday, falling below the uptrending level of support right here that it had been sitting on. So falling below that uptrending level of support is important because it indicates that the Dixie could be going into a downtrend. If the Dixie goes into a downtrend, that would be very bullish for Bitcoin. Bitcoin and the dollar currency index are inversely correlated, which means that when the Dixie is going up, normally that means that Bitcoin is going down. When the Dixie is going up, that normally means that Bitcoin is going... When the Dixie is going down, Bitcoin's going up. When the Dixie is going up, Bitcoin's going down. They go in opposite directions. And the reason for that makes a lot of sense. I mean, people are buying Bitcoin as a hedge against the dollar. So if the dollar's not performing very well, then they buy Bitcoin. It also has to do with inflation reports. Inflation's been very sticky over the last year or so, and so that has led a lot of people to buying into Bitcoin. And so with the Dixie moving into this downtrend, we're going to keep an eye on this. This is pretty important. We want to see what plays out here. Now we're also going to look at the S&P 500. So far, the S&P fell below $524. 524 points, which was a bit scary. It's a bit concerning. But we have managed to hold on the 20 exponential moving average. As you can see, the 20 exponential moving average is a very important moving average that Bitcoin and the stock market alike both respect. And so with the United States stock market sitting here above the 20 exponential moving average, that gives us the concept that the stock market may be going into a bounce and could continue rallying from here. Right, that is something we're going to want to watch very closely because the stock market also finds itself, the S&P 500 finds itself in this symmetrical wedge right here. If it breaks bearish here, and I'm going to be buying a lot of it, but if it breaks bearish here, that would potentially be relatively bearish for Bitcoin. A scenario that I could see playing out would be that the Dixie is already corrected for a time and it could start a major uptrend soon. I mean, that would make sense. Look at the size of these uptrends and corrections. An uptrend soon would make sense. Be nice for it to continue going down for Bitcoin's sake, but it would make sense if it were to go through a rally soon. And with S&P 500 sitting in this ascending triangle pattern right here, it could very well happen that Bitcoin would go into a downtrend right here. That the stock market could go into a downtrend right here. That would be kind of a perfect storm of bearishness for Bitcoin because, as John Doe just said in chat, a lot of people are going to be taking profits at $70,000, at $73,000. And so especially with the potential FTX estate coming out in the next several months, we could see some people taking profits from that. I would. Just to be totally honest with you, if you're telling me that I bought Bitcoin $1,000 and I was forced to hold on to it for 10 years because, not FTX, I'm sorry, Mt. Gox went bankrupt and then I got it back, you're dang right I will be selling a lot of that. Absolutely. I'll take a 70x any day of the week. Totally. So at that point in time, there could be a kind of this perfect storm of bearishness coming in. I think in general, Bitcoin's going to have a bullish next few weeks, but we're definitely going to want to keep a close eye on it. Now, let's also take a look at Ethereum. I'm quite excited about Ethereum's development right now. Actually, I already have it up over here. I'm quite excited about Ethereum's development over here. It has been largely trading sideways, but the fact that it's trading sideways can be seen as a good thing because it means that Ethereum is building a critical support architecture here at $3,600. Bitcoin could the Ethereum market could very well hold here above $3,600, and if it does, it could easily move into a rally up towards $5,000, especially with the ETFs launching. A rally on Ethereum could be right around the corner. Looking here at our technical indicators, though, we do see that there's a bearish MACD cross, which is not great, and the bullish momentum is slowing down almost to a stall. And so obviously that's not very good either. But if the entire market goes into an uptrend, then Ethereum would likely follow. Again, we're predicting a couple of weeks of sideways price action from here. That being said, the buy signal on Ethereum has not yet sent us to the take profit. The take profit starts at $4,000, goes up to $4,260. We will probably end up seeing a rally coming in to finish out that take profit at some point soon. But Ethereum is going to probably need a little bit of a kick in the pants from the rest of the cryptocurrency space. As you can see in the last hour or so, Bitcoin rallied up to $70,000 and rejected from it, which is unfortunate. During that same time, though, we're also seeing Solana go through a rally. Solana has been uptrending for the last few days. It's not a very steep uptrend, but it is somewhat of an uptrend. Last couple of days, we've seen an uptrend on Solana. We bottomed out here at around $161. We've then rallied up about 3.6% to about $167, which is exciting. This could be the beginning of something, so we're definitely going to want to keep an eye on this. Remember, the charts that we're looking at right now, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dixie, S&P 500. We're also going to be looking at the CPI reports. Want to keep an eye on CPI reports. We saw the 15th. Core inflation was sitting at 3.4%. Core inflation has been very sticky for a very long time. All items is at 3.4%. Core inflation is at 3.6%. The reason that this is important is because it likely means that the effective federal funds rate is going to stay high. If we go to the FedWatch tool by CME Group, then what we're going to see is that the likelihood of there being a drop in the next 8 days is very low, which is unfortunate. It's likely that the rate is going to stay current. And even into the next meeting in July, the end of July, it's likely it's going to stay current. Moving into September, it's likely that it's going to stay current. There is a chance that we could have a drop by September. The effective federal fund, the Federal Open Market Committee, the FOMC, predicted that there would be a drop of at least 25 basis points in the year of 2024. Doesn't quite look like it's going to happen right now with inflation being so sticky. They are running very high interest rates because they want to keep inflation under control, and the Federal Reserve feels that the only way to keep inflation under control at this current time is to keep interest rates high, which means that you're probably also going to be dealing with higher mortgage rates, higher rates of inflation, and because the higher rates of inflation is the reason why you're in this mess in the first place. And also you're going to be dealing with higher yields from things like high yield savings accounts. If you don't know, if you have a lot of cash, park it in an HYSA. We use CIT Bank, not affiliated, but I'll let you know. That's where we use. We get, I think it's 4.97% on large deposits. So make sure to check that out. There's a lot of different ways that you can make money, and one of them is to have your emergency fund, which you should all have in place. If you don't have an emergency fund, please work on one. You should all have emergency funds in place. Keep those in a high yield savings account. Those high yield savings accounts will continue to be high yield for a time because they are based on the effective federal funds rate. As long as the effective federal funds rate is elevated, you're going to have treasuries performing pretty well. You're going to likely have the stock market performing quite well as well, because normally the stock market is outpacing the interest rate by quite a bit. And you're also likely going to have HYSA, high yield savings accounts, doing very well. So those are just a couple of tips. Make sure that you implement those if you want to squeeze every little bit of success out of your investment. Now, let's also talk a little bit about how we actually succeed with money, because I want you guys to succeed with money. And one of the things that I have learned in my years of doing this is that succeeding with money is not about the big things. It's about the details. You win or lose on the details. You see, the way you win or lose is not, it is not by taking one big swing. It's not by saying, I'm just going to change this one habit. Listen, cornerstone habits are a thing. They are important. A couple of habits for me. I quit caffeine. So several months ago. Love it. It's now forcing me to reanalyze, man, okay, I want the same kind of energy that I have when I'm on caffeine. Wow, how do I train my body? How do I eat appropriately? How do I sleep correctly? How do I get more healthy habits so I'm not just saying, I'll just drink caffeine and have energy. I want natural energy, right? So cornerstone habits are important, but the way that you succeed in anything is not in the large scale. It's in the minutia. It's in the details. It's in saying, I don't need 3 streaming services. I need 2. It's in, I need to have a plan for when I buy and invest in Bitcoin. It's for, I need to get out of debt. It is for, I need to make sure I'm using a budget. It is for, I need to make sure that I am being generous. The Lord and society favor a generous individual. You get favor. Don't be generous selfishly, but the fact of the matter is, it will come back to you most of the time. So it's about the details. Like there's someone that I would like to coach. They don't want my advice, so I'm not going to give it to them. But if I could give them advice, and if they would actually listen to me, one of the things I would say is, you know, you like this certain drink. Don't buy it at the gas station. Go to Sam's Club. Buy a 24-pack of it. I'm not even telling you not to drink it. You can figure that out later. Go to Sam's Club. Buy a 24-pack, and instead of spending $3 per little soda, spend 50 cents per soda. Right? It's saying, hey, I want to get ahead financially, so, I mean, I've never smoked a day in my life. I think it's absolutely disgusting, to be totally honest with you. But if you're smoking, hey, I'm going to get some help, because I know those are one of the most addictive things on planet Earth, right? I'm going to get some help. I'm going to get a patch. I'm going to get some gum. I'm going to get whatever it takes. I'm going to get off of those, because instead of putting $150 a month into smoking cigarettes, you'll want to actually put that into paying off debt, right? It's saying, hey, you know, I'm a you know, again, not me. I haven't had any alcohol in like a month or a month and a half or 2 or whatever, and I only have one glass of wine. But let's say you have a drinking problem and you drink Jack Daniels every single night. Maybe what you need to do is say, I'm going to drink about 2 nights a week. Instead of making my drink 200 proof, I'm just drinking straight ethanol, right? I'm gonna mix it a little bit lighter so it lasts longer. Maybe I'm going to put my money in a high yield savings account. Because if, you know, at one point we had $25,000, right, in our high yield savings account, just as our emergency fund. We had, you know, money all over the place everywhere else, but our emergency fund at one point, it was $25,000. That was this number at that time. And so the high yield savings account generated about $100 of income every month. We didn't treat that as income. We just treated it as, okay, our emergency fund is growing. Emergency fund is not there to help you make money. It is there in case crap hits the fan and you need cash so you don't have to pull out a credit card, which I hope you cut up already. We did. You should too. But it's about the little things. It's about the details. And then what ends up happening is that when you're like facing plumb backwards here and you're going straight towards bankruptcy and you say, I'm going to turn a degree to the left. I'm going to turn another degree. I'm going to turn another degree. Oh, I turned back a degree. Crap, I picked up a bad habit. But I turned 3 more degrees left. Oh, I went backwards a step. Went on vacation I couldn't afford. I took out a debt. Oh, but I took 3 steps forward because now I'm on a budget. I went backwards because, man, ugh. I don't know. I really needed that new purse, right? I took 3 steps forward because, wow, I'm being generous now and it's coming back to me. And then I took 1 step back and then I took 3 steps forward. And then guess what? You take enough steps and then how do you run a mile? You got to take about 1,000 steps. How do you drive 1,000 miles? You got to sit there behind the driver's, in the driver's seat for about, I don't know, 20 hours, whatever it takes, 24 hours straight. How do you drive from Jacksonville to Los Angeles? You jump on I-10, you press the gas pedal for 3 days, 1 minute at a time. My dad used to always say, I said, how far are we? How far are we? He'd say, getting closer all the time. Let's be getting closer all the time, man. Let's do it. Make little changes. It's not about this market. It's not about Bitcoin, whether you succeed or not. It's not about the stock market, whether you succeed or not, because guess what? If you give it long enough, they move up and to the right. I do daily updates because it's interesting, not because it's the way you get rich. I do daily updates because I want to get you in the door with the daily update so I can share with you wisdom that will help you to succeed. If you zoom out far enough, it's up and to the right. If you look at this on a 5-year time scale, you will make money. Capiche? Buy things that you're just gonna make money if you hold them long enough. Buy assets that go up in value. You know how a lot of people got rich? Listen, there's a tract of land. It's probably about 80 acres. It's probably 2 40s put together. Not the kind of 40 you drank, the kind of 40 that, when they did the actual division of the land back in the 1800s, they divided into mile by mile, 640 acre tracts, and they subdivide that again into 160 acre tracts, and they subdivide that again into 40 acres. That's where the whole phrase, the back 40, comes from, right? I think it's an 80 acre tract. It's on the corner of 39th Street and this other street here in Gainesville. When I was growing up, I would drive to Santa Fe College for my college classes, and I would pass this, and it was wooded. Well, they logged it recently. Now they're building apartments on it. Somebody owned that 80 acres, and they probably bought it 30 or 40 years ago. Honestly, probably for a few $1,000s. Probably for no more than $5,000 for the 80 acre. Probably, because with inflation and everything, it was probably purchased 30 to 40 years ago. It got logged. The timber would have brought more income than $5,000. Probably, I don't know, $100,000 maybe. Timber is, you don't make much money per acre with timber, with the pines. They logged the pines, and then they're building an apartment complex there. That piece of land, I'm going to try and check the public record. It's probably sold for north of $10 million. And the reason is because somebody bought that land years and years and years ago, probably around when the interstate was coming in the 70s, and said, you know what, one day the city is going to start building out around I-75, and then it's going to jump over 39th Avenue is going to jump the interstate, because they were building that when they built the interstate, because the interstate went under. They had to build the road over the interstate. The city's going to move out that way, and then that's going to become prime real estate one day. Somebody had the 30-year horizon to say, one day, this is going to be worth something, so I'm going to buy it right now. That's how you get wealthy. Is you take a long-term time horizon and you fix the little things. You fix the leaks. How do you stop a boat from sinking? Sometimes there's a cannon hole in the side of it, and if you fix that, the whole thing will be fine. But generally, the reason that your boat is sinking is because it wasn't sealed properly and there's 100 little leaks. You've got 17 streaming accounts that you don't even use. You've got debt payments out the wazoo, and you're giving everybody your money except for your future self. You are giving more money to DoorDash and to McDonald's and to Starbucks than you are to your savings accounts and to your investment accounts. You are spending more money on cross-country sports than you are on saving and investing for your future. Because you are so broke, you're not being generous, and so you have no joy. Because you're so broke, you are blowing up on your spouse, and so your marriage isn't in good shape. How do you succeed with money? It's in the little things. There are some cornerstone habits, but you got to fix a lot of little things. And that's what people don't understand. People want a silver bullet. People want you to write them a $10,000 check. People want you to give them a car. People want you to give them a job. It's not about that. It's about the little things. It is the little minutia. It is the little details of timeliness. Am I a timely individual? It's about, am I an individual that budgets? It's about the minutia, where you succeed or fail. And I know a lot of people that are homeless or on the brink of homeless. They're right there in that situation. And a lot of times, it's a situation where they don't care about the minutia. They're saying, if someone would just give me a car, if someone would just give me a job. I am absolutely in favor of helping people. I want to help people. But you have got to listen to the wisdom of saying there are absolutely 1,000 paper cuts that are killing you. Look through your bank account. I dare you, when this stream is over, look through your bank account. Look through your cryptocurrency account. Look through anything. Look through your Coinbase. How many tiny altcoins that you think, it's not that big a deal, but I got 47 of them and I don't know what any of them do. How many paper cuts are there in your financial life that is causing you to bleed? That's why you're middle class. Middle class is not the destination. Middle class is just good enough to get by, and it barely is. But let me tell you a quote that revolutionized my life. Good enough isn't good enough if I can be better, and better isn't good enough if I can be the best. Where are the paper cuts? I'm going to continue to tell this story, but when I took over the company, you guys know I took a hiatus, came back. I had 9 employees of the 10 quit on the same day. I went from having a 10-person workforce to myself and 1 employee who decided to stay. In a day, there was a mutiny. There were lies told. It was a mess. And so I had to go through the finances. And the first thing I had to do is I had to triage. I had to say, man, how many paper cuts are there? I looked through and good Lord, there were a lot of different little areas where, money's going out in a subscription here. Money's going out in a debt payment here because for some reason, because we believed in the whole credit card myth. Right. There's money going out here to this subscription, money going out here to this subscription. I had to go around, I had to triage, and I ended up saving several $1,000s a month just by putting a Band-Aid on the freaking paper cuts and letting them heal. I had to figure out, how do I turn this business around where I'm not, instead of bleeding over $10,000 a month, how do I put this into a profit? I had to do I had to cut some limbs off, but I had to do some triage. And I had to say, look, there are paper cuts all over the place, and I've got to do something about it. And I did. And now the business is extremely profitable because I did what I am teaching you. It was a dumpster fire financially a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. To be totally honest with you, it just was. It was a complete mess. And I let it get there, and it is 100% on me. But I'm also telling you how I fixed it, and I did. I will also tell you how stressful it was on our marriage, that it was not running correctly. Oh, money in my marriage doesn't matter. No, it does. You don't understand how much of a hardship you will put on your marriage, on your family, if your finances are not in order. So please, for the love of God, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to all the people in chat that are saying this man knows what he's talking about. I do. I don't know everything, but I'm right on this. You've got to clean up the mess because the mess brings stress. When the trains run on time, everything will be fine. But when they run behind, no profit will you find. You've got to prioritize the little things. You've got to plug the leaks. And when you plug them, don't just plug them. Put a solid solution on them. Don't just say, we're not going to have 17 streaming accounts. I'm not going to put them all on pause. I'm going to cancel them. And then, by the way, the credit card that I was running them on, I'm going to cut it in half and freeze it. And then I'm going to shut it down. And I'm going to be done with being a fool with money for the rest of my life. I've had to do that. And I'll tell you what, it's traumatic when you start to realize that you were dumb with money for years and you had to fix it. Which is why I can't stop talking about FinSoft. That's why I can't stop talking about it. Because I know how much danger it brings you to not live that way. And I also know how much joy it brings you to live that way. Malvin said 70K level just slapped the crap out of Bitcoin's face, fell back down, lol. Yeah. Yep. Shadrach Frost said, folks, let's hit that like button right now. It only takes a second and truly supports this channel. Let's show Jeb some love and appreciation for all he brings to us every day. Thanks, friends. Oh, and by the way, with generosity, here's the other thing. When I did that, and like I said, I'll tell more of the stories as the time goes on, but when we had 9 employees quit on the same day, again, there were lies going around. There were a lot of lies being told. And there was also a lot of foolishness that I was doing that, frankly, I probably would have quit too. So I definitely take, the vast majority of the blame for it. But here's the thing. It's not about blame. What it is about when that happened, I had 9 people quit on me in one day. I gave every single one of them 6 weeks severance for free. I didn't ask a thing of them other than to turn over any passwords that they knew. That was and any logins they knew, and basically write down any systems that had not been already written down. That cost about $65,000, which I really was not in a place to spend, but I did it anyway because I wanted to show people that some of them were treating me very well, some of them were not. Many of them, over half of them, were being very good about it, but several of them weren't. Some of them were trying to sabotage things. We gave them everybody 6-week severance. No one asked for it. I just said, I'm going to keep all 9 of you on payroll for 3 paycheck periods so that you have time to find a job. Because you're kind of quitting on me last notice, but I also know that a lot of you guys don't have the kind of money that you need to be able to really do that because it's going to take you time to find a job. I cost about $70,000, somewhere in that range. That was me saying, look, I love you, even if I haven't treated you well, which I'd made plenty of mistakes myself. And 2, even if you're not treating me well. And I look back and I had a lot of people give me pushback like, Jeb, why are you doing that? Some of these people aren't treating you very well. Well, it's not about that. It's about saying, look, I want to be an example of generosity. I want to be an example of kindness. And I also want to leave things on as good of a note as I possibly can. And I have a great relationship with the vast majority of the people that went through that. Even if they weren't acting right then, we've made amends. Even if I wasn't acting right then, I've apologized. And there's repentance and there's reconciliation in a lot of that area. But the fact is, being generous, being wise, filling the gaps, living on less than you make, choosing financial sovereignty, it works. And when you don't follow that model, you end up building a paper tower and the thing ends up burning down or falling down eventually. Crypto Surge said, you only have one more thing to fix, please, Jeb, the intro. Yes, I know. I've got to take the intro down and fix that. Well, Paul C. said, I wonder what happened to the crew. Well, most of them have, all of them have moved on and are doing pretty well for themselves at this point. But it was definitely a very hard season for a lot of them. And it was hard for me. I remember coming in, I basically said, look, this is going to work this way, and if it doesn't, then this is going to happen. And I had everybody quit on me because I said, listen, this is not the way this ought to go. Next day, I had to come in and rebuild the entire stream around one person. And so it was a very stressful week. And we were pregnant with a high-risk pregnancy at the time. Very hard season. But learned a lot about humility, learned a lot about apologizing, because, again, I in no way want to paint this as being everybody else's fault, because it wasn't. A lot of it was mine. So, yeah, it was a difficult time, to say the least. But a lot of the difficulty that was going on, a lot of the damage and trauma that was done in the relationships there was as a result of me not choosing FinSoft. It was as a result of me not saving and investing the way that I should have been. It was as a result of me not having budgets and having financial plans. It was as a result of me not being the one that was sovereign over the business, which meant that I need to be a very, 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 very good leader, but also what I say goes, period, because I own the business. There were a lot of things wrong in the way the company was run. And so the company is actually more profitable now than it was back then when we had a multi-million, when we had over $1 million revenue with just myself and Sarah and one employee helping us with sales. We're in better shape financially right now on a 3-person crew than we were back then, even at the height when we had 16. And that's because we've chosen FinSoft. Malvin said, agreed. Cheers for the 2 cents, big homie. Free game right now. Hard to be the bigger person in the world full of, never mind, let's make money. Yeah, so anyway, guys, I also want to let you know about Uphold. Uphold's Vault is an incredible product that you should absolutely check out. And the reason is because, again, like I said earlier, smart investors mitigate risk like it's the plague. They ensure that they are not going to lose their money to a hacker or a thief, or to, Murphy and his 3 brothers. Chance, chaos, and wonder. When Murphy and his crew roll in and they try and make sure everything goes wrong all at once, because that's how it always happens, you don't want your private keys to be mixed up in that. You want to protect yourself against old Murphy, because he's trying to screw you over. And when you store your private keys on a cold wallet, you can lose them. And so what I want you to do is sign up for Vault. Go to the link in the description box down below. Sign up today. Sign up right now. There's a 30-day trial. You have nothing to lose except 5 minutes of your time to set this up and see how it works. And in return, you will be getting access to a way of self-custodying your cryptocurrency assets that is the most secure in the industry, with access to 24/7 instant trading. Check it out. How is Sarah? She's still in the background? Yes, Sarah is in the other room right now resting, because we are over 28 weeks into our pregnancy, and I feel so bad for her because she is so out of it. She can barely move, guys. She is completely bedridden. Her pregnancies are extremely difficult, and so I'm just, gosh, it's very, very hard for her. Very, very hard for her. Please be praying for her. Very hard for her. We've almost had to go into labor and delivery several times for a premature birth already. So it's hard. Shmee was spending all the money. No, Shmee had no access to any of the finances. It wasn't Smay. Smay handled things with a lot of maturity. In some areas, he made a few mistakes, but he handled things with a lot of maturity. Where he made a mistake, he apologized. And so Smay's doing very well. I would consider him a friend. I don't see him very often, but he and I are on great terms. Rahoofty Floofin said, listen to this man earlier when I was talking about the, death by 1,000 paper cuts. Don't sell your Bitcoin, right? Jeb, let's talk about how we actually succeed with money. This is when he goes beast mode. Crypto Surge said, late to church, everyone. Hello, what's up, Jeb? What's up, Crypto Surge? I have tons of natural energy. It's good. It's what you want. Good sleep, good diet, good exercise. That's how you get natural energy. Mt. Gox returns will be dollar amount of equipment. Oh. All right, let's take a look. Good morning from Columbus, Ohio. Good morning, Columbus, Ohio. Sucks to hear about Sarah. All the best to the fam. Thank you. Verhoofdifluffen said, we'll pray for your lady and child. Thank you very much. Relaxation music certified, given the frowny face. I assume that's for Sarah. Yeah, we're praying for her. I obviously am doing my very best to support her and, take weight off of her, take pressure off her, make sure she's able to lay down and taking care of everything. So I'm working as hard as I can on the channel while also making sure to do as much of the, she does a lot. She does way more than she's supposed to. She really ought to be laying down more. She works her butt off. But trying to take weight off of her as much as she'll let me. She just like, I gotta help. I just want to help. She's very adamant about being helpful. And so that's awesome, but the prayer is for her to say, it's okay if things don't get done. We need to lay down and rest because we don't want the baby coming early. So that'll be the prayer for her. But yeah, poor lady. And we both caught a cold now. So now she's got a cold to deal with on top of all that. So it's just rough. Please pray for the poor woman. All right. I also want to let you guys know about crypto.com. It is inevitable that you'll check this out at some point because they've got over 100 million users and you can invest in crypto the right way by doing recurring purchases here. Make sure to go and set up your recurring purchases on crypto.com. Here's a power move. Set up your recurring purchase on crypto.com so you're always growing your the amount of cryptocurrency in your account. Then take it over here into the products, go to crypto earn, and then if you want, you can check into locking it up here for some rewards. And you can grow it here at 5%. On top of the fact that you're dollar cost averaging into it, on top of the fact that it is growing in the fact that the market's going to rally eventually, then you're just like moonshotting the amount of Bitcoin you have, because the amount of value you have in Bitcoin, because you're increasing the amount of Bitcoin you have every week with dollar cost averaging, then you're earning some on it because you're locking it up for rewards. And then you're also seeing the Bitcoin increase in value. So make sure to check out crypto.com. That's a cool strategy. You might not want to do that with all your Bitcoin because I want you to self-custody some of it, like, for example, on Uphold's Vault. But some of it might be a cool thing to try out and experiment with. Praying for Sarah and a 9-month-old baby pregnancy. Absolutely. That's what we're praying for. Making it to at least 36 weeks. We're at 28 right now. So we're hoping that we'll make it at least another 8 weeks. Charity and Malachi were born at 38 weeks and 5 days. Malachi was born at 4:51 in the morning. Charity was born at 4:47 in the afternoon, but they were both born at 38 weeks and 5 days. They were almost exactly 12 hours apart in gestation, so we're hoping for the exact same thing to happen for our baby boy, who I'm going to keep his name to myself for right now. But stay tuned because you'll be seeing more about that. Thank you guys for tuning in. Stay tuned for today's afternoon episode of your Daily Dose of Crypto, and go back and watch the last few. I think you'll really enjoy the new format. We're going to wrap it out. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.